It was in the quiet, in the moments alone, that she could see herself most clearly. I am of two parts divided. Stranger. Hala. And family.
Hala is an indie film shot in Chicago that if you're like me, you might have missed. Originally, it premiered at Sundance Film Festival in 2019, and sadly it was on my list for the Chicago International Film Festival the same year, but got scratched due to some scheduling conflicts of mine. Anyway, I finally got to see it, and at the time of this writing, it's available to view through AppleTV. Written and directed by Minhal Baig, who was born and raised in Rogers Park, the film, though purportedly not autobiographical, is inspired by her life experiences growing up in a Muslim family while attending Northside College Prep in the North Park neighborhood.
Under the same roof. One that rushes forward fearlessly. Another that questions everything. You're not scared, are you? Maybe.
This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com, where we present podcasts and videos about Chicago and of particular interest to those of us who live and work in the city, as well as enthusiastic visitors. I'm partial to culture clash coming-of-age movies, and this film has much in common with others, such as Bend It Like Beckham, Blinded by the Light, and maybe even West Side Story. 17-year-old Hala Masood is a Pakistani-American Muslim girl struggling to navigate high school, hormones, and the harmony within her home. Her sexual awakenings have her laser-focused on Joshi, a non-Muslim boy in her school, bringing her into direct conflict with her family and the cultural dictates of her ethnic community. This is a comparatively common issue that many first- and second-generation immigrant families find themselves having to confront. Children want to become fully American, whatever that means, but their parents still have one foot in the old country. Part of growing up also means coming to terms with the idea that your parents may not be perfect, and that they may be having troubles and trying to resolve conflicts of their own. The father, Zahid Masood, is apparently a moderately successful lawyer. He and Hala share a number of academic interests, leaving the mother, Eram, feeling a little bit like an outsider. It was an interesting choice of the director to have the mother speak her lines almost entirely in her native language, thus isolating her even further. This is not an uncommon phenomenon in some male-dominated immigrant families that some say is designed to keep women under the control of their husbands and at home in their traditional roles. Though there are one or two unexpected twists, I found the overall story for the most part predictable. However, the performances were very good and the characters believable and engaging. I live very nearby the film location and know a number of kids who have attended this exceptionally ethnically diverse school, making this story of particular interest from a Chicago perspective to those of us who know and understand this neighborhood.
You said that I could tell you if something was going on. Something's going on. Sharing the same blood.
You know the consequences.
Talking over each other.
I didn't do anything!
Seeking to be understood. A cacophonous sound. That is the head and the heart.
Considered a rising star, Australian-born Geraldine Viswanathan, as Hala Masood, is not overly glamorous in the typical Hollywood style. She seemed very comfortable in the role, and actually would easily blend in with the kids who attend Northside Prep, fictionalized here as Harold Washington High. Her boyfriend, played by Jack Kilmer, on the other hand, is the son of actor Val Kilmer, and Jack earns his place by delivering a solid performance. There are a few secondary characters who, in my view, were used then left hanging, most notably Hala's confidant and classmate Melanie, who becomes mysteriously MIA during Hala's most critical crises, and the rest of the film for that matter. Teacher Mr. Lawrence understandably disappears, but the whole relationship seems ill-conceived and unsatisfyingly unresolved. Same with Dad's colleague Shannon Taylor, played by Chicago native Anna Chlumsky, who is perhaps best known for her juvenile role as Veda, opposite Macaulay Culkin in the 1991 film My Girl. After a hiatus from acting to study international studies at the University of Chicago, Chlumsky has returned to TV and film and is here all grown up, giving us one more Chicago connection, but only a tenuous connection to the storyline. For the record, the parents played by Azad Khan and Purbi Joshi employ a low-key and natural acting style that adds to the voyeuristic ambiance of the film, making you feel as though you're peeking through the curtains to grab a glimpse of their life. Baig does not paint them as stereotypical, but rather presents more complex contemporary characters who are attempting to reconcile their traditional beliefs. Recent events compel me to mention that Jada Pinkett Smith, the now notorious wife of slap-happy husband Will Smith, is an executive producer on Hala, after her production studio Overbrook Entertainment picked it up at Sundance. From a production design point of view, Northside College Prep was built in 1999 and is one of the city's most architecturally modern school buildings, providing some interesting sunny visuals of the atrium windows in the library and cafeteria. Its location on the river provides Hala and Jesse a perfect opportunity for a semi-secluded stroll along the bank. Other shots of the city include flashes of the museum campus and drive-bys of the bungalow-lined streets, giving this movie a distinctive and charming Chicago feel. In summary, this is a fine movie with an important message that can provide insight into the American immigrant experience in general and the particular challenges of children of immigrants who grow up having to walk a fine line between diverse cultures that are often in opposition with one another. Hala is definitely worth the viewing for both the sensitive and well-told story as well as its distinctive Chicago vibe. This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com, reminding you to please like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you prefer to listen. Also share the content if you have a friend who might be interested. And always, if you need audio or video production for your business or organization, visit renoweb.net. Finally, a shout-out to Steve Solomon, who's a graduate of Northside College Prep and the composer and performer of our official theme song, Foster Avenue Beach.
Well, the rain never came, but the sun didn't shine. Put the umbrellas away, leave the sunglasses behind. That's okay. Going home, we're going home. To the lake with the song, all 5244. Foster Avenue Beach. Yes, I took it to